Hi there, and thanks for joining me as we chat about and demonstrate what it's like to teach GIS, in this case, online using a robust content management system. In this case, a system called eCollege, and in this case, offered through the University of Denver. Once I log into the University of Denver's University College program, I see a variety of things. What I wanted to highlight, though, was the fact that I've got all of the access to the previous times that I've taught using this online system. So I can look back over the years and see and be able to access all the resources that I put on there. But I'm going to go ahead and access the current course that I'm teaching right now, which is GIS 4630, Public Domain Data and GIS. There are certain things that I like about eCollege or any robust course management system, but I'll highlight eCollege for right now and talk about 16 things that I really like about it that seem to foster dynamic and robust learning. First of all, everything's in one space or one place. I've got everything I need here to run the course. Yes, it took me a little while to set this up, such as the gradebook, but once set up, it runs very smoothly. And it's very dependable. So that's the first thing, is that everything's in one spot or one place. The number two thing I like about this is that the course tab is right here. So this course tab is everything that the student would see. So for example, the announcements, the course announcements that I post on a regular basis, sometimes every day. This is available for the student to look at. Also, under the course home, I've got the syllabus. The standard things about the goals, the kinds of data we're going to use, and the week-by-week schedule of the course. I've got some faculty information about me, my goals in teaching the course, and what we're specifically going to do in this course. I've got some online student tips. I have this course schedule. I also have something called a student lounge. Inside the student lounge is a place where you, as an online student, can do what you normally would do before and after an on-the-ground face-to-face class. In other words, what would you chat about? It could be GIS, it could be non-GIS stuff. And indeed, we have a mixture of both in here, with responses from me, student-to-student discussion, and so on. I also have some GIS software information, how to access the software that we're going to use in the course, who to get it from, where to go if you have difficulties. I also have some other statements in here from the university. So that's the second thing I like about this, is this course tab. On a related note, I have an author tab where I can author and set up the course beforehand and also make adjustments as the course goes on. The third thing I like about this system is that I have a week-by-week, as you can see here on the left, set of buttons that I've set up. In each one of these, I have a variety of things, sometimes more, sometimes less. Let's take a look at week 1. In week 1, I've got an online discussion. I've got a lab, which is a hands-on activity in GIS, and I also, in the case of week 1, have a course introduction. One of my favorite things about teaching online is that you can, through a robust course management system or content management system like this, foster discussion. And indeed, what I've found, and others have found, is that you can actually foster more discussion in an online environment than in a face-to-face setting. Strange but true. So for example, in this case, in week 1, I have some statements, as I usually do at the beginning. I have an assignment for them to do certain things, in this case 5 different things, and then their students respond to that. Sometimes they start responding to each other, which is as you can see here. And I have that every week. Every week has an online discussion. I also assign points to those online discussions because I want to have an incentive for the students to respond. In this case, in this particular course, I made each week's discussion worth 2% of the total grade. So the course was 10 weeks long. The total discussion was therefore worth 20% of their grade. Number 4, I have the lab assignments. So in this case, Lab 1, you will have the opportunity to assess the utility of different citizen science portals and then analyze data from citizens and government agencies on invasive species using GIS. So this is a step-by-step lab or exercise assignment. Number 5, quizzes. I have a series in this course of 5 different quizzes. I've inserted them at their appropriate locations in the different weeks. Here's quiz 1, for example. Each quiz has 10 questions in it. Number 6 is the assignments themselves. I have them embedded in the week-by-week discussion. Whether they're quizzes, whether they're labs, and in the case of the end of the course, I have a final project. The final project is a project proposal in this particular course using public domain data that includes the following components, and I have these 5 components. So the number 6 thing I like about this is the assignments, the ability to include those inside this course. The number 7 thing is what I offered earlier, and that is this author tab where I can make any changes that I want. One of the things I'll highlight right here is this whole announcements area. You can see that just about every day or so I have an announcement. I have a start date for that announcement and an end date for that announcement. That means that before the course starts, rather than deluging the students all at once with a bunch of announcements, I kept it to a minimum, 2 or 3. But as the course goes on, I might post an announcement about a new data set or a new conference or something GIS related in the news that pertains to our course and so on. But I could also stagger the announcements in such a way that I knew, for example, that toward the end of the course I would want to announce about X and Y, for example, the final project. I could set that up several months in advance to actually not appear until the date that I specified. I really like that. Number 8, the course administration. As you can see, there are some tools as tabs across the top. One of them is course administration. So I can set up the general information and settings and how this whole page appears. Number 9, and one of the things that might be my favorite, is setting up the gradebook. As you can see here, I've got an ongoing set of grades, and more important, the students can check their grade at any time so they know exactly what they've turned in and what exactly I've graded and what exactly their grade is at any particular point in the course. I can set that up in such a way that I can have drop boxes for each one of the things that the students turn in. When they turn it in and it's associated with a Dropbox, then I'll get a notice that it's sitting in the Dropbox ready for me to grade. So for example, the final project has a Dropbox. It's worth 12 points. Lab 1, 2, 3, and 4 all have Dropboxes, and they correspond to weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7 in the course. The online discussion do not have Dropboxes because, as you saw, they're just discussions between the students and me and between each other. I have Dropboxes for the quizzes, so when they turn in a quiz, I see it in the Dropbox, I grade it, it goes back to the students. The quizzes are in weeks 2, 4, 5, 7, and 9. So that's it. Once I set up the gradebook, it's automatic. So for example, I do not have anything in the Dropbox right now. But when I did have something in the Dropbox, it would appear here, and I would grade it. It goes back to the student with my comments, with the grade assigned, and then it automatically updates the gradebook for each individual student. That's the number 9 thing, therefore, the gradebook. I don't have to maintain a separate spreadsheet. For email, I can also email the students, all right from here, which is very helpful and handy. The email address is tied to the student's registration for the course, so I don't have to maintain the email list. There's also this live tab. If I wanted to have a live chat with the students and invite people, I can do that at any time. And so during most courses, I ask if there's interest in having a live chat, and several students usually take me up on that, and we have 1 or more live chats during the course. It's kind of like Skype, but it's all contained in this content management system. There's also this doc sharing tab. In doc sharing, I can put things like additional labs or lessons that I don't have time to actually go through in the course, but they're resources for the students to access in the future. And I have just about everything in here in this doc sharing area that I also have in these week-by-week discussion tabs. So for example, the syllabus, if the students wanted to download the syllabus, I also have the labs in here and the quizzes, so that if the students don't want to copy and paste it from this online system, they can obtain it in doc format so they can edit and put their answers inside the doc file inside Word. I also have, in this case, in this doc sharing area, I have the data inside here. So, for example, if the students for whatever reason can't access the Food and Agricultural Organization or the USGS or whatever other site that we'll go to access the data, they can go here to doc sharing and they can obtain the data that way. Of course, they can always come here and get the data if they need to. So that's the 12th thing I like about this system, is this doc sharing area. The 13th thing is this drop box, as I've mentioned earlier. This is where if the student turns in something, it automatically appears in here. I grade it, it goes back to the student. The 14th thing in here that I like is this journaling area, where we could write journal assignments and essays. The 15th thing that I really find valuable is this webliography. This is sort of like an ongoing list of web resources. So I can edit these, I can update them, I can post new ones. Right now in this particular course I have 48 entries, ranging from the shoreline data from NOAA to the Montana Natural Resource Information Systems to readings in GIS law and so on. So that is something called the webliography. Very helpful to the students from what I have read from their responses. The 16th really helpful thing here is something called tech support. I can chat online, I can email, and I can also call. And on a related note, the help system is quite excellent here as well. So those are the 16 things that I really find valuable about using this system or any robust content management system to teach online with. As we all know, it is just as or more time consuming to teach online than face-to-face. But using this system seems to really foster the kinds of things that we all like about education. Robust conversations, really digging into data and issues, and so much more. This particular system is called eCollege by Pearson, and I really enjoy it. I really found it valuable. So thanks for listening.